Hello and welcome to the Course Wizards podcast. I'm Christopher Maselli and I'm here today with my buddy Amit. How you doing today, Amit? Oh wait, wait,
It's
you're
not
not.
Amit.
It's not Amit. Hey, Amit is at a big conference today in San Francisco, and so he's asked me just to fill in with him, and I'm here with my wife Gina. Gina, my wife and I host the Writing Momentum podcast, where we talk about writing all the time because we are both full-time freelance writers, as you've heard me talk about before on this show. And so glad to have you here, Gina.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. This is very, very cool.
Yeah, this is fun.
Love
It's like
learning about courses
you've
and
entered into, and you've
I
actually
know.
recorded. She just recorded a course yesterday, didn't you?
I did. I recorded a course on writing for the inspirational market, but I've done several courses online. Thankfully, I've got my tech guy to help me figure out all the ins and outs. So I'm glad to be here though.
That's right. Well, she's coming on today, and Amit and I asked her if she'd join me today because we're going to be talking about how to pick the best social media network to act on, right? Or to interact on.
This is so important for entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
solopreneurs. There's so much opportunity that's available out there that it can be hard to figure out where should you focus your effort. I don't know if that rings true for anybody out there listening or watching, but definitely for us, Chris and I have gone round and round with our own business trying to figure out where do we focus our efforts.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of trial and error with that.
Yeah, well, the thing is, marketing, y'all have heard Amit and I talk about this all the time, but marketing is about relationships, right? And when you've built your course and you want to start drawing people to that course, you need to be building relationships. You've got to be making posts out there. And social media, it can help you do that. But that means you have to be on social media, which can be such a time waster many times, or if you're not focused on your efforts, it can really be a time waster. And that's why we usually recommend that you really focus on one network, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube, whatever it is. You want to really focus in on one and use that, don't you?
That is true. We have at times found where we have been trying so hard to hit so many different networks so that we could catch all these different people that we were really running ourselves ragged. We were, just going in all these different directions and working so hard to just reach people with our message. And we had to really step back. I think we were on the verge of just kind of burning ourselves out, and we had to step back and we ran some numbers to kind of decide which network was working for us.
Yeah.
Because just because it worked for a friend of ours, another entrepreneur, another solopreneur, did not mean that it was working for us. So we had to find what worked for us.
Yeah, and it really depends somewhat on your niche, right? Because every network probably has people that will interact with your niche, but some of them are going to be better than others. And so, well, today for this podcast, what we did is Status Brew recently ran an article, and we'll have that link to that in the show notes, where they've got these social media statistics. And these are super insightful. And so we just wanted to go through some of these, looking at each of these key networks and why each one might be better for you than another, or more targeted for you than another. And so are you ready to jump in?
Oh, let's go. Yes.
All right.
I can't wait. I want to see it.
So the first one is Facebook. Now, Facebook is absolutely, hands down, without a doubt, the most popular social media network out there today. It has nearly 3 billion active users. That's a billion with a B. And get this, I couldn't believe it when I saw this. 98% of people interact with Facebook on mobile.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised.
Well, so what that means is if you don't have
I
your
do.
material mobile friendly on Facebook, you're missing the point, right?
You know what? I guess that's funny. I don't know why I'm so surprised, because I do have Facebook on my phone, and I do use it on my phone. But that's interesting, because I don't know if it's this way for you, but I find it sometimes easier to post from my laptop or from my computer. So to say,
That's
well,
because
then
we like to type a lot.
we
We're
like
always sitting at our
and we like
computers
big
typing all day, right?
screens and we like to look
Yeah.
at that. But you're right. When I'm actually using it as a user, I'm looking at it on my phone. So I guess that makes sense. I don't know why I'm so surprised by that, but
So here's what that means though. Your posts need to be mobile friendly, and if you've got a call to action on that post, the click through has got to be mobile friendly. And this is where we can take a key from all the things that Ahmed has taught us about things like Thrivecart, because it works really good on mobile. You want to make sure that it works well on mobile. Whatever platform you use for your course, we love New Zenler, but any of the others, any that you use, make sure that they work really well on mobile, because people are going to be clicking through that sales page. If you have it on Facebook on mobile, most likely only 2% won't be. That's crazy.
Wow. That's really interesting. I thought one thing you did find also, and this does not surprise me because we have teens, but teens are not using Facebook. Facebook is kind of it skews older.
Yeah.
Let's see, 25 to 54 years of age.
Yeah.
And this one surprised me, slightly more males than females. 56% of Facebook users are guys.
Yeah.
And that surprised me too, because you think of Facebook maybe as family photos and that kind of thing, but maybe not so much. Maybe there's other things.
I think there is this aspect too with Facebook where it depends on what you're doing on there, right? Facebook has become a place where a lot of people are using it for group interaction because they push the groups. So if people want to join communities, which I do think a lot of guys want to do that. I mean, I know I have joined so many software communities and things like that it's a good place for that. But women do too. I mean, it's really only 56% males, so still 44% females. So there's still it's a lot of both.
It's a lot. Well, let's move on to Twitter.
Yeah.
Tell me about Twitter.
All right. Twitter is interesting because here's let's talk about the demographics first, since we just talked about Facebook. Twitter is also a little older. It's 25 to 54-year-olds, or 58% of the user base. Okay. Now, how it's different is that 70% of Twitter users are male, and 42% of them have graduated college. So this is a college-educated, male-dominated audience for the most part. And so depending on what your niche is for training, you can see how you might make choices as to whether you want to be more active on Twitter or Facebook based on some of these things you're finding out here, right?
Well, and I can see how Twitter would be appealing for the person who just wants they just want the facts. Like, give me what I want to look at. Let's go through, and they can probably scan it very quickly.
Yeah.
Where some of the other networks maybe take a little more time. So I definitely can see how a college educated man would find that appealing.
Now, what's interesting is that Twitter users are very active. 42% of the user base check their Twitter account daily, multiple times, or no, just daily. 42% daily. 26%, so a quarter of the users, check it multiple times a day, which is good because those tweets go by so fast. You kind of do have to check in a lot. But yeah, it's a pretty active user base.
Well, and I know I have heard before, and I may be saying this, this may have changed a little bit, but I have heard before that you should be posting on Twitter. If you are going to make Twitter a key social media platform for your business, then you need to be posting multiple times a day. And I thought I even heard that it was up to 10.
Yeah, I've heard 10 or 11 times a day post on Twitter, which seems like a lot. It's way too much, but that's that's the.
But it's that all that information is just going. You got to stay up with it. So how about TikTok?
TikTok skews younger. It's 18 to 24-year-olds, and they are interesting because they are 45% of the audience is 18 to 24. 56% of the audience though is female. So this one skews female. So it's a little bit opposite as far as the numbers go from Facebook. It's younger and it's more female than male. And TikTok is amazing. It has reached 1 billion active users in a very, very short time. And that's despite the fact that it was banned in India. okay, which is a huge user base for any of these networks. So TikTok has really taken off. And we know for writers, the whole book talk thing is a huge deal. Well, whatever your niche is, if you can be the person to be posting on TikTok about that niche, this is a really good ground to be jumping into right now.
And I think that also considering that these are mobile users, a lot of these people are mobile users, whether it's TikTok or whether it's Facebook or whether we'll even see with YouTube. I think we're realizing that we have to have captions on our videos.
Absolutely.
We have to make sure that there are captions because a lot of people are listening to them. If they're on the mobile device, it's probably with the sound off. I think there's a good portion of them that are going to be watching those videos with the sound off.
It's really not even a bad thought outside of social media, but when you're building your course, to start putting captions on your videos, because people are taking their courses over mobile. It's just happening more and more.
Yeah. Definitely when they're using public transportation, if you're in the metro areas using public transportation, you're not, you might have your earbuds in or something, but maybe not.
Yeah. Now, a little bit bigger than TikTok is Instagram, and it's the 4th most active platform in the world right now. 64%.
Wait a minute. You said 4th. Are you sure it's not 14th?
No, it's 4th. It's the 4th most active platform. Yep. And 64% of the Instagram users are under 34 years old. Okay. They're evenly broken up, male and female. And about 58% of marketers use Instagram, again, for video, for reels. And almost all the stories have a CTA, 80% of them. And 83% of users use it to discover new products. So I just threw a lot of stats at you there. But basically what it boils down to is marketers love Instagram, and they use reel stories. They have calls to action, and they are getting results from it because people go there looking to purchase.
And you hear a lot about Instagram. It is very, very popular. I'm actually surprised that it's the 4th and that it is not higher because so many of the people, I feel like I hear about it everywhere. So what about Pinterest?
Well, you know what, before I get to that, I'll give you the rundown here. I know in this article, this is that Status Brew article. The number 1 platform is Facebook. Number 2 is YouTube. Number 3 is WhatsApp, which we're not really talking about today. Number 4 is Instagram, and then it goes down from there. What's interesting is that WhatsApp, which is number 3, number 5 is Facebook Messenger, number 6 is WeChat. Those are all chat programs, right?
Okay.
So, and then number 7 is TikTok. So you can see that TikTok has moved up very quickly. If you take out the chat apps, it would be Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok as the top 4.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting, huh?
It is. That really is.
All right. What are we talking about next?
Now we're talking about LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Okay. So LinkedIn, 60% of their audience is 25 to 34. So these are young professionals. It is very evenly divided, male and female. And I thought this was interesting. 46% of a company's website traffic from social media comes from LinkedIn.
That's amazing.
So if you want to if you have something that's more business oriented,
business to business,
or for business people, like it's a training for business people, LinkedIn is the place to start posting. 45 million people search for jobs on LinkedIn every single month. It is the go-to place for jobs. So yeah, LinkedIn, if what you're doing is more business oriented,
business to business, hit LinkedIn. Make sure that it is part of your strategy and part of your marketing plan.
And then what's next? One of your favorites?
Pinterest. Pinterest is 77% female.
Yeah, 77%.
77%. And 60% of them are 18 to 34 years old.
So it skews very young female.
Yeah. And only 5% use Pinterest globally. Only 5%.
So 5% of the world uses Pinterest globally, but that's not much.
Is that 5%?
That's 5%
of the world.
Of the world uses it.
So here's what that means for Pinterest is that they have room for growth.
They have a tremendous amount of room for growth. So if you're wanting to grow, now Pinterest is a little bit different than the ones we've talked about. The first 4 we talked about here truly are social networks, right? They are made to post things on, interact back and forth. Pinterest is actually a search engine. So is YouTube. Those two are search engines first, social media second, versus all the others, which are social media first, search engines second.
Mhm. Why does that matter? Because I see that as a huge benefit, but what would you say? Why is that a benefit, or why is that a distinction
What I
that's
like
important?
about Pinterest and YouTube is that when you post something on there, it has a very long life because they're
Mhm.
indexing that in order to be a search engine. People also go to Pinterest and YouTube when they have questions. So you're answering people's questions, providing an answer which can point to your course more so than the other ones. The other ones are more about building those relationships. It's about building trust. It's about being in people's lives, active on a daily
Mhm.
basis.
Yeah.
Whereas Pinterest and YouTube, it's kind of like being on Google, except that these are more visual in nature.
Okay. I would agree. I love the fact that if I put something out on Pinterest or on YouTube, that it's going to have a lifespan that is
Yes.
a lot longer than some of the others,
Mhm.
because they're just people are scrolling. And if somebody's off social media for a week, they may have missed your whole campaign or whatever.
Mhm.
So that personally, I like that. But I understand that for somebody who I understand that there are a lot of people who have made one of these other social networks their
Yeah.
primary marketing tool that they're using, and that it works for them.
Yeah.
So,
And then finally, we want to talk about YouTube. It's the world's second largest search engine right behind Google, which happens to own YouTube. So Google really owns both the first and second largest search engine in the world. And again, 70% of people use YouTube on mobile. Okay,
mm,
most of almost all of these are really mobile based. People like to chat on the go, they like to search on the go, they
mm,
like to watch on the go,
yeah.
and so it's 70% mobile. Now, they have more 18 to 24-year-olds than any TV network.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And that's something that you and I can post on, right? You and I may not be on NBC or CBS or CNN, but we can post on YouTube so you can actually reach more people than you could on those networks.
Well, and you know what? That is one of the things. I know we all complain about social media because as business owners, we feel like we just don't have the time, or maybe we don't have the expertise or something like that. But I am so thankful that I live in an age where this is available to me for free.
Yeah.
Because I do remember the times when you were looking at buying mailing lists to send out snail mail and direct mail and that kind of thing, when you did have to buy billboard space or magazine space or TV time. And man, that was really cost prohibitive
Yeah.
for a lot of small businesses. And now we live in an age where this is available to us for free. Now
Absolutely.
we can buy ads on these things, but we don't have to. If we're willing to put in the work, we can do it ourselves. And boy, 30, 40 years ago, that would have been the same as like going door to door and knocking on people's doors. And we don't have to do that anymore.
No, no.
I think that's the blessing of living in this age.
The other thing that I'm excited about when it comes to like YouTube and really any of these is that so many of them are video based. And you
Mhm.
know that as a course creator, what are you creating? Most of us
Yeah.
creating most of the time. Now, Amina and I have talked about how you do not have to do video for your course, but most of us are because we know it's the most effective medium for sharing your course.
Mhm.
And if you're already comfortable with video, guess what? You have a leg up over most people who are posting on these social
True.
networks because people are looking at it on their phone and they're looking for video.
That makes sense.
And you see that on YouTube, the average video length is 10 minutes. And if you are well prepared to do a 10-minute video, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So, just a brief recap. We talked about how marketing is building relationships, and one of the best ways you can build relationships is through social media.
Mhm.
You want to do so on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube, whatever your niche seems to be best on. So look at those demographics we talked about. If you need to go back to the episode and listen again, or I recommend this statusbrew.com article. I'm putting the link in the show notes. And from there, you can look at these things and really learn what might work best for you. Now, one of our favorite tools is that I've talked about on here before is SocialBee. It's a way that you can post on multiple platforms all at once.
Yeah.
You can find out more about that at writing.fyi/SocialBee. and there's a code Momentum20 that gives you 20% off for life. This is my tool of choice, absolutely, for posting on social media.
Yes.
I have it posting out there for me even while I'm here recording this podcast. So I'll put that information again here in the show notes. It's writing.fyi/socialbee, code Momentum20.
Well, and I want to point out that Momentum20, that was a special code that was created just for you.
Yep.
You got in contact with the company,
Mhm.
and we were going to be speaking at a writing conference.
Yep.
And they contacted you when they found out about that. You got in contact with them. I don't know who contacted who first, but you guys got together and they said, you know what, let's do this, and we're going to give this for life.
Yep.
So Momentum20 is the code, and it is for life.
Yeah,
And that is huge.
That's big, because that's actually not a code they allow to be out there anymore, but we still have it available for those who listen to our podcast and who are a part of Writing Momentum, and now Course Wizards too. So use it before it goes away. It's definitely a good code. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us here at Course Wizards today. Gina, thank you for joining me. I know Amit thanks you for filling in. We can't ever replace Amit, but it's sure nice to have an option when he's at big conferences. And so thank you for joining us here. Until next time, please rate, review, subscribe, and share this podcast with those who want to know about learning more about doing courses. And please really do subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe. If you're listening on a podcast, subscribe. That makes it so you will never miss another podcast. So until next week, I'm Chris. This is Gina. Next week, Amit will be back. And we just encourage you to keep being creative. Bye-bye.